Howdy mates, good late morning. How are we all doing? It is Saturday, June 3rd, 2023. I'm over revisiting the 6-mile cypress slough based in Fort Myers. You know, I already knew I was going to be down in the area, so I was like, you know what, let's make the trip even more worth it by visiting a couple of parks while I'm here. But no, the occasion is I'm attending a banquet this evening, and I'm looking forward to it as a networking event. It's with the Audubon Society of Southwest Florida. But anyway, you hear what's in the background? You're hearing the pig frogs, so named after the fact that they sound very similar to pigs. You figure with the time of year that it is, you know that the males are trying to attract a particular female mate. So that's why they're given those calls. But we have reached a time of year now where it is starting to transition into summer. So the slough that I speak of, it refers to basically a seasonal type of wetland. So you figure, since we're now getting into the wet season or summer, we're going to start seeing more water here. Thus, more water will bring more life as we know it. However, though, the slough is very instrumental in this part of Southwest Florida. I mean, really, to sum up the type of service that the slough provides, think of it as a reservoir. So whenever wet season does roll in, which it already has, much of that excessive runoff, whether it be stormwater, for example, it can be stored here. And in that process, much of the vegetation that is here, whether it's ferns, grasses, submerged aquatic vegetation that we see down here, or even bald cypress, they can filter those nutrient contents, you know, in the form of nitrate and phosphate. And thus, once the water has a chance to pass through here, it will then meet with the Estero Bay and will go into the Gulf of Mexico. And as a result, that water has much less nutrient pollution within it. And at one point, this place was threatened back in the 1970s for development. And it was actually a group of high school students that actually brought together a group and put it up as an initiative ballot, passed it through the county and the city, and thus, as it got into the mid-1970s, this place became known as the 6-mile cypress slough. It is a haven for wildlife, too. I mean, considering that much of the habitat destruction has and is still occurring, keeping these types of parks are absolutely crucial for both the future of our wildlife and the future of educating future generations, too. You see, the thing is, Mother Nature has been able to exist millions, if not billions of years before mankind. So when those who say nature relies on mankind, it's not entirely accurate. Mother Nature is very resilient. It's just, she can't always keep up at the rate of how quickly we're changing it just come to fruition that we need nature more than nature needs us. And that is for a fact. You can't ignore that either. It's innate. But yeah. The water's actually very clear right now, surprisingly. That's just from the fact that some of this water that's in here is relatively new. So there hasn't been as much leaching yet from the surrounding vegetation. Once the water gets a little higher and sits a bit longer, I shouldn't say sit, but stays present longer, the water will become darker. Yeah. The reason I was saying that the water doesn't sit is because even though the water looks like it is stagnant, it isn't. It's just moving very slowly. And oftentimes we refer to that as the sheet flow. So of course, as I've said before, if you haven't been, I would of course highly recommend. It's a nice little gem in the Lee County part of Florida, close to Fort Myers. It's alright. Take it easy, you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.